Hey, I'm Stacy.
And I'm Kevin.
And this view behind us is fantastic. We're out here at our family compound, what we call
Be Free Acres.
I envision sitting around a fire pit, enjoying this view with our family. So I definitely wanted to get a fire pit, and we had intended on building the fire pit ourselves.
However, when you build stuff like that, obviously it takes rock and it takes concrete and it takes mortar and it takes all the different stuff. And we just got our well drilled. We don't have the pump in it yet. The electricity is just getting put in, but they're going to be building within probably a month. So by the time I got that up, I would have like 24 hours to build one. And we happened to be looking at some rocks.
Yeah, and when we were there, they had already built some and they looked fantastic. So being a great husband, Kevin got one for me for Mother's Day.
Of course.
And so let me show it to you. See how beautiful this fire pit? I can envision us all sitting around it. I'm so excited. But if you've watched our videos before, you know that we really like the propane fire. Now I wanted to be able to use this for both real wood and propane, but we definitely want propane because you don't get the smoky smell and it's quick and easy. So that's one thing. We've got to add propane. So thus the DIY part of this. We are going to turn this fire pit into a propane fire pit, and then we're going to also do some chairs. So join us.
As always, my wife uses the term we very loosely. We means me. We ordered this 30-inch fire ring with the hoses that attach it off of Amazon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to get it mounted in the fireplace on top of the rocks or just barely below the level, and then get all the lines run so that it'll work. And then I'm not sure exactly what kind of rocks we're going to use on top of it, whether it's going to be a regular lava rock, a smooth lava rock. There's some different options that we may have. We need to see what it looks like, how it goes in. So this one I'm kind of building the plane as I'm flying it. So this particular fire pit, they actually left a little hole for propane to enter, but it's all full of rocks. So the first thing I need to do is kind of fish something in this way and then down this way and find where it connects, and then determine how we're going to run that line, whether we're going to use a piece of conduit to run it through or we're just going to pull it back and then bury it. I'm just using kind of a rebar rod stake thing just to kind of push in here so I feel the gravel. I'm just going to kind of chisel myself a little bit of open area in there, and then I'm going to kind of dig down.
While he's getting some gloves, I'll go ahead and put mine on and start digging. This pit is actually filled with like river rock and a little bit of like a granite type rock. We've got a little shovel too. And we will put a link in the description below of all of the items that we used in this project, just in case you're interested in doing something similar. And when I move it, I can see we're almost there. So one thing that they did say too, with all of these different kinds of rocks and lava rocks, is you do have to get rock that is actually for fire pits and rated for fire. Otherwise they can pop and crack and shoot debris.
So I'm going to separate this from what's here, because this will have to fish through. This is the on-off that will be on the outside going in. So this will kind of be sitting like this so that we can turn it off and on. Now, to bring this through all those rocks and all that dirt and all that area, I'm going to tape up this end. I'm also going to tape up this end, which will be connecting to this later. But I want to make sure that we don't get any dirt and debris in the lines, because that'll mess up your gas flow in a hurry. Okay, so I got both ends taped off. This end is actually going to be centered for the fire ring to go onto. This is going to go outside. So now I just want to make sure that I have this little trail set up a little better than what it is right now. quick rough measurement of where the center is going to be.
Oh, that was just about the right size.
Yep. So probably right about there. Okay, so that fire ring will actually sit on the rocks once I get it set here. So on here, they've got a ring attached. That screws into this, and then the air intake thing will screw into, and see how it's got air? Okay, so on this, it shows that there's some air that comes through these holes, and it says not to let it get clogged up. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a metal piece of conduit, and I could be just all wet about this whole operation, I don't know. But I'm gonna basically do it where it goes around this. I'm gonna drill a bunch of holes in it, and then push it down so it just has a notch out for this to go through. But basically what that's gonna do, allow some air to get in, but protect it from all the dirt coming in. And again, it may be a good thing, it may work, it may not work, but if those holes get clogged, I don't want my gas log or my gas fireplace to quit working. So I'm gonna try that, and we're gonna see if it works. So I'm gonna continue to drill these holes just down a little bit, then I'm gonna cut it off with my Sawzall, but I'm gonna cut either a notch, or I'm gonna cut it angled so that it doesn't affect that other piece of the hose. All right, so we got some holes in there just to give it some additional breathing room. I'm gonna go do a quick measurement to see about how long I want this, and then how I'm gonna notch it. All right, so my generator won't start. I think I must have a clogged fuel filter. I thought it was out of gas because it looked like it was, but it starts and then shuts right off. So I'm gonna have to cut this the good old-fashioned way, by hand with a hacksaw. So I'm gonna have a little sharp edge right up in here. So I'm gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way with the rasp too, and just kind of take that sharp edge off. Cool thing is though, if I want to stab a vampire or something, although I guess you have to have a wooden stake, but that might do. So what we're gonna do is, these rocks are able to withstand the heat. We double check. So we're gonna take off a couple inches worth of rocks off the top. So once we get this set, we can put the rocks back in over top of everything. Took the piece that I cut off, and I took a file and filed this inner edge so it's not razor sharp. I mean, it still could, if it really pushed down, could probably cut through something, but it's not nearly as sharp. So what I'm gonna do here is try to get this like in this, like that. And push that down in there like that. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mount this to the actual fire ring. But this, what I'm hoping will do, is it will protect around this, still give it some airflow around it. So I'm going to kind of bring this back a little bit as we bring it in, and then hopefully that'll work good.
And hopefully it's not gonna rain on us. It does weird things out here. It'll say it's not gonna rain, and then all of a sudden a storm will come up.
Okay, so our next step, told you this thing came with a little nut on the ring. We're gonna go ahead and tighten that up with our crescent wrench. And then we're gonna tighten in that piece down in the fireplace into this next. That kept it from getting too dirty. A piece on. And for this, I'm gonna need my assistant. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have you spin the wheel in just a second.
Okay.
Here, it goes towards me, sorry. Okay, so they're pretty snug. So now, what I'm going to try to do is line this up this way. Here's my pipe doing a 90. So I want the sharp point kind of in the back. So then these holes are protecting this air pocket right there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to step out of the fireplace here. Clear my path here a little better as it's going down in there, because it keeps kind of filling in. And then I'm going to have my lovely assistant pulling on this hose over here as I put this in place. Okay. Pull it towards you a little bit, not too much. Okay, so now you can kind of see where this is at, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift this up around here, just kind of protecting that place with the holes. I'm going to start just gently filling in some stuff. 'Cause I want this to stay even too. I'm going to keep trying to kind of go around and kind of do it all the way around as it's filling in.
So even though the weather says it's not gonna rain, that looks like rain. I'm gonna go put some stuff away.
So I'm going to fill in a little bit of these gaps with some granite rock out of the driveway, because I don't know if I have enough to fill in kind of the little empty areas around the side. So I'm just going to get a couple scoops of this. All right, so in an effort not to do things 5 times, I want to hook it up and make sure that gas actually goes through and that it lights up to begin with before we actually cover it up with more gravel. So eventually, we're going to have a propane tank on the other side of the house. So what I'll eventually do is, at my other house where we have this yellow heavy duty propane line, and that's what I'll do. I'll actually dig a trench around. Going to kind of wait until they're at a good point in the construction that it's not going to be messing with anybody. Our septic line is going to eventually kind of go up this line here. So what I may do is, once he gets that cut in, run my line over, run it up that way. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and hook this up with the regulator and all the pieces in this. I'm going to undo operation here, keeping this clean. Okay, so that's good and snug. Now, I hook it into my handy dandy propane tank. If you'd ever seen these little covers, did a video on this. This thing is sweet. You can drag it all over creation and it works out really, really well. And this particular one has like a regulator that's adjustable. That's ouch, what came with it. So we're going to turn it to the, okay, so that was actually on the on position already. You got the flame on it.
You can
that
turn
bad
it.
Boy.
Can you turn it down some?
Yeah. Turn down like that one. All right, so we lifted it up a little bit, put a few more rocks in the bottom. We're going to try and see if we like that better.
I definitely like that better. Oh, that's so cool. That's really cool.
This looks fantastic and is so cool. I'm very excited. I'm sure you're shocked. I'm very excited about this. All right, check on the fire pit. It is completed. It's even better than I thought it was going to be. And now we are going to go get some Adirondack chairs to put around here, and we are going to stain them the same color that we intend on using on the pillars of the house. Okay, we picked up the Adirondack chairs, so now it's time to get those out, check them out. They're unfinished, but they are put together already, and we are going to stain them.
Yep.
So.
And these are cool ones because they actually fold up, which is pretty cool.
Okay, so we got the chairs out. They're super nice. I really like them. And now we're gonna stain them.
I said I didn't have a container, so I took an old milk jug and just cut it up so I can put some stain in it. And then once I'm done with my Dunkin', I'll probably put some in here too. I was actually surprised at the thickness of this. It's kind of like a milkshake a little bit. I mean, obviously a melted milkshake, but. So I'm gonna try it under here first, just we're gonna see how well it goes on. Yep, that looks nice.
So we got as many of the chairs stained last night as possible, and this morning we're gonna see all the areas we missed because it did start getting dark, but also it's a little wet this morning, so we're gonna just get these chairs, get them out to the fire pit so the sun can dry them out before we finish up the last bit of staining.
As with any staining project, you just have to take your time, keep going over it, get rid of your drips, and continue to make sure that you have good coverage.
The chairs are finished, the fire pit is finished, and it all looks amazing. I love it. The color turned out really nice too, so it looks so good. Now to use it.
I learned a long time ago, it's really not what you have, but what you do with what you have to increase your time with your family, to increase the time with friends, and increase those special times where you can just be together and have good fellowship. As we continue on the journey of building the compound, really the ultimate goal is that we have our family all together, that we have that time that's very special. So remember, doing things yourself allows you to be free, but being with your family and being with the ones you love is the true freedom, and that's what really allows you to be free. Thank you for watching. You can check out our playlists on our YouTube channel. You can also go to our website at www.befreebenson.com. And remember, as always, doing things yourself with family-oriented activities allows you to be free. We'll see you in the next video.